let's get into the big topic of open source. Something that we actually say at Red Hat.
This is so awesome.
We are an open culture that believes
actually
in
a big
some
piece
What is that process that a developer, or let's say
as the Kubernetes ecosystem really boomed?
Hello, welcome, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is the Ask an OpenShift Expert live stream. For those, the eagle-eyed viewers, we don't have Sully. He's got a face-to-face this week that he couldn't miss, and so he sent his regards, and he'll be here next week, hopefully. We've got Christian and Luiz joining us today. We've got an awesome topic. It's a huge topic, right? And it's multi-cluster observability with I'm not even gonna try and say it, but with ACM. And I will say this: you guys have prepared more than probably anybody I've ever seen. Like I'll have to go back and view like all the stuff because you guys came at it today with a bunch of information. So really looking forward to it. Before I kick it over for intros, though, I do want to go through some top of mind things. The first is our schedule coming up is we've got one more week, and then Red Hat shuts down for the holiday. And I'm taking PTO, and Sully's taking PTO, so we're shutting down a little bit early. So I think we're going to be back the 14th of January, potentially the 7th, but it seems like more realistic it's going to be the 14th. And that day, though, we have a guy from Australia coming on, and he's going to talk about confidential containers out in the field. So that's going to be a really exciting topic. It's something that we've been looking at for a long time, and to finally have somebody come on, it's going to be really nice. The other one is July 21st, we have GitHub coming on. So there's been a bunch of integration with the GitHub Actions and then having runners running in remote clusters. They finally put that out. It's going to be an awesome episode. So if you've used OpenShift pipelines and you're using GitHub Actions, this is probably going to be a good episode for you. The next thing is there's a blog. I'll share it once we get going. It goes over some Kubernetes best practices, like just for configuring things. Instead of going through and reading each one by one, the big ones that stood out to me were just like they're obvious, but it's good. They're worth repeating. And if you're going to use jobs, make sure that jobs run for tasks that should complete, right? Not this running continuous kind of thing. We want it to be more like a one shot. You have, maybe I need to go out and get a secret, or maybe I need to go out and do, do something. I need to make some action against something. That's what you would want to use a job for. Updating a database or initializing a database. That's typically like a really good use case for it. Another couple are just using pods without a controller, only when it's necessary, right? So if you're testing something, that's really when you want to do like build or create a pod without having a deployment associated with it or anything like that. And again, I'll forward you the link. The next one is that there's a Kubernetes sneak peek for 1.35. 1.35 is supposed to be released on the 17th of this month. So it just shows some of the deprecating APIs, which is like cgroup v1, and I can't remember the other one. And then they've got a bunch of updates. Again, December 17th is the alleged drop date for 1.35, and we'll probably see that in OpenShift around 4.22. It's typically, I think, one release. And then finally, OpenShift Commons is in Amsterdam this year. KubeCon EU is in Amsterdam this year. OpenShift Commons is a day zero event that's going to be there. We're looking for presenters. We're looking for panelists. We're looking for just that community involvement, the interaction for OpenShift Commons. So if you're going to be there, you should sign up. It's absolutely free. You'll meet a bunch of OpenShifters. You'll meet a bunch of Red Hatters, and it's a really good chance if you have a topic to get yourself on stage and present. And it's probably a little bit easier to get your presentation done in Commons than it is to get it accepted through KubeCon, because it's just if you've ever done it, it's super challenging. So the CFP closes January 12th, and yeah, that's it. I think that's OpenShift Commons it's a big deal. Another thing that they recently started doing, I did not turn off my notifications in Slack, and I'm paying for it. Another thing that they're doing recently is they're doing this OpenShift Commons superhero, and what this is where all of us nerds, we pick another nerd that's just been going above and beyond, right? They're going out, they're doing their thing every single day, but they're also contributing back to the community and making sure that they're spreading the knowledge and spreading the wealth. And this is your chance to acknowledge that person. So what I did when we first started this 2 years ago is actually actually RHACM in chat here. I nominated him, and then we went and we basically picked on everybody, made them vote for him too. And so he was one of our first people to get the superhero cape. So it's kind of a big deal. If it's kind of a big deal if you're a nerd. If you're not a nerd, you probably don't care. But all right, that's it. I'm done rambling. Christian, good to see you again, man. Thank you for coming on. Luiz, it's nice to meet you. I'm really looking forward to this topic. I use ACM all the time for various things, and I know observability is a big thing for our viewers and for our customers, and ACM is another. It's an awesome platform. So, how about you kick it off?
Yeah, thank you, Jonny. So my name is Christian Steiger. I'm a technical product manager for Red Hat Advanced Cluster Management. One of my focus topics is observability, and I'm happy being here today. And maybe, Luiz, you would also like to introduce you.
Yeah, thank you, Christian. I'm Luiz. I am a technical marketing manager for Red Hat Advanced Cluster Management, or ACM, as we like to call it. And I work on a daily basis with Christian, just solving all the observability problems we have and making sure our customers and users get a nice solution out of it. So,
nice.
Yep.
Do you also call Christian Tony Stark, or is that just us?
Probably just you guys.
Okay. Yeah, he's our Iron Man, so it's we give him a hard time.
Yep.
Yeah,
Go
I'm
on.
not sure of this joke. So I sometimes get it, but it's not so. In Germany, based in the Munich office. We don't talk about this so much now. So I know that this joke exists, but it's not a big thing.
Yeah, that's a missed opportunity if you ask me. So cool. No, again, thanks for coming on. I know we've been talking about this for a little bit now. And again, like, you guys were super prepared coming into this live stream. So, Christian, do you want to go ahead? Do you want me to share your screen, or how do you want to start?
If it's okay for you, Luiz and Jonny, start sharing my screen, and when we see how it goes, no? But can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So today we talk about ACM 2.15 multi-cluster observability. And it's a good timing because ACM 2.15 is going to be released the next days. It's pushed out, no? So it's a very good timing. And just a very quick recap. Most of you know this slide already. And ACM provides different pillars, different parts of the product. And today we talk about multi-cluster observability. And this is a part of the product where we really got a lot of questions in the last months. Many customers asking for updates, and the team has really provided great new features, which we want to show to you today. And yeah, maybe we start directly. So like in every release, the components of the ACM observability stack have been upgraded to the latest versions. Certainly, we have some customers who have reported issues which are already fixed by upgrading the stack. One of the essential components, which we will talk more today, is Thanos. So you see here some kind of definition. I also would like to highlight the new URL, which the team has provided. This is really great content. We can take a look maybe later. But this is the content which will also be the basis for the new Thanos operator, which we don't ship yet, but we are planning to ship this soon. No? And as usual, you will get an updated documentation, also with some interesting release notes, which we will also talk more later. So one improvement, and this is just a documentation improvement, but it has been asked by customers several times. So think about, you would like to back up a hub cluster. What about observability? This piece was simply missing in our documentation. And basically, you can remember two steps. So you need to also back up the Observatorium CR, and you need to scale the Thanos compactor to 0. When you can just go ahead, you preserve the tenant, and then you can reinstall observability on a new hub in case you have an outage and in case you want to move ACM clusters to a new hub cluster. It's really just a documentation improvement, but it's an important improvement. Another topic, which is not new, but which has been asked many times by our customers. I mean, not every customer wants to use our Grafana built into ACM. Some customers asking us about how to get the data out of ACM. And there you can say two patterns. The first one is the export metrics pattern. It's a difference between remote write and push, as you see here in this slide. So we are doing a remote write to a remote destination. Now, this is officially supported, fully documented. And what we learned from our customers is that the payload can become huge. So we had some customers having problems with the proxy server. And what needs to be said is that if you are sending the metrics out of ACM, then you certainly enter it into a new storage system and you are leaving basically the support scope. The second part is customers would like to fetch metrics. Here we have a block which has been referred several times by the customers. And we are overriding this block. It's not wrong, the content, but it needs to be updated. And basically, you have two options to fetch the metrics. So the first one is to use the RBAC query proxy. Here you are getting some kind of fine-grained RBAC feature, which we have, but we need to rework this a little bit more. And you have also the option to directly cause the Observatorium API, which is maybe a little bit better when you want to integrate with a remote Grafana. We also discussed with our customers that if you want to fetch the data and want to bring it into a remote Grafana, then you are certainly also, it's not supported from our point of view if you want to build Grafana dashboards which are not part of ACM. I want to highlight some updates regarding OpenShift virtualization. So 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was a nice session regarding the new multi-cluster console, so the fleet virtualization, as we call it. So you see here a nice view about all the virtual machines around about different clusters. And we have many dashboards regarding OpenShift virtualization. Now we have, let's say, our basis dashboards, which are coming with the product, which are shipped by default. And we have our right-sizing dashboards, right-sizing for OpenShift virtualization, and namespace level right-sizing. I will talk a little bit about this in the next slides. We are getting questions, for example, from our customers, how long is a virtual machine in a certain state? Now, this is something what you can, for example, see in the inventory dashboard. So it gives you a nice overview about the different tasks, what a VM admin might have. And if I go quickly back, one challenge what we have is to embed the dashboards better into the fleet virtualization UI. This is something what we are still working on.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Right sizing, you see here it's coming as a tech preview in ACM 2.15. Many things, thanks also to the OpenShift monitoring team with the right sizing team who has helped here a lot. The goal is clear. Customers would like to have information about if the virtual machines are over provisioned or even underutilized. And it's certainly one of our, let's say, indirect cost reduction features. So it will be provided as a Grafana dashboard for now. Luiz has very nice tutorials how to set this up. It will be policy-driven configuration. We will set up Prometheus rules, config maps, and then you can certainly decide which clusters, which virtual machines would you like to select for this right sizing. And you see also here the upstream repository. And we would certainly love to get your feedback on this feature. Feedback so far was good. And we hope it's helpful for you. So you see how to enable this feature in the MultiCluster Observability CR. It's just a flag, and then you can try it out. So you see here how the dashboard will look like. And a very quick recap regarding the namespace level right sizing, what is now technical preview for a longer time, so since ACM 2.14. Certainly both features we will bring to GA status at the beginning of next year. This is the plan. And what we are often asked by the customers, and this is maybe an interesting discussion topic. So now you are getting these recommendations regarding virtual machines, regarding namespaces. What are you doing with these results? And we had, for example, some customer who told us in a meeting, in the age of AI, we are expecting that you are doing some automatic remediation with these results, what we are getting with the right sizing. Other customers are asking us for alert management integration. So if, for example, a namespace is not optimized at all with a high difference between recommendation and actual settings when you should have an alert. Everything is possible. We just think that you need to be a little bit careful with some automatic remediation here. So it's something where we also need a little bit more feedback. So would be very interested to hear about this. But what you see and what we are also sometimes getting asked is, so what is the relationship between right sizing and the vertical pod autoscaler, where you have the option to do some direct changes on the system? One important difference is that right sizing is more of a long-term solution. This means we are monitoring the virtual machines, the namespaces over a longer period, while vertical pod autoscaler is doing something more quickly. And I would like to highlight that there is no direct relationship between virtual machines right sizing and the vertical pod autoscaler. This is also a question what we got in the last weeks, months, several times. And yeah, maybe it's something that will change, but for now, it's not related. I would like to go to the most important part today. So the new MultiCluster Observability add-on with the metrics collector being GA in ACM 2.15. So this new MultiCluster Observability add-on was introduced already in ACM 2.12 as a tech preview feature behind the feature flag. And the goal was and is still the same. We don't only want to provide metrics, but certainly also logs and traces. Logging and tracing is something what we are certainly also being asked on a multi-cluster level, but it will not be a major topic today. What is maybe interesting from the recent customer conversations is that the customers are asking us to provide multi-cluster logging, yes, but it does not need to be on the same hub cluster when where ACM is installed. Maybe it could be a helper hub cluster where you just focus on centralizing logging. So the discussion is here still ongoing. One important thing what we need to resolve is the multi-tenancy aspect. So customers asking us for building some kind of filter between clusters, but also namespaces, so that you can see only the logs in the namespaces in the clusters which you are allowed to see. And the same for tracing. So this is something what we are working on. Now, let's do a quick recap about how ACM metrics collection has evolved. So in the first versions, we had basically a allow list where you store all the metrics, all the platform metrics, and it was a single federate call from the in-cluster Prometheus to the hub to the Thanos. And this is certainly some kind of single point of failure. In our second step, we have added user workload monitoring. This is already very helpful, but it's still a separate, only one federate call for user workload monitoring and for platform monitoring. So this is the first version. Now, in the last versions, we have added a workers flag for the metrics collector. This was really improving the scalability, but it's still, let's say, some kind of single point of failure. And now we have improved this stack. We have replaced, we will see it more in the next slide. We have removed and we have provided a new stack based on Prometheus using the Prometheus agent and the scrape configs. Most of you know the cluster observability operator. It basically works in a way that if the cluster observability operator is installed on the ACM hub, we will just use it. If it is not installed, we will deploy a part of this operator, which is the Prometheus operator. And here we will do a federate for every scrape config. So you see that it's a much better distribution of the load, and you have much more flexibility to scale.
Hey, Christian, before you move on, I just want to make sure that I catch up on the chat here. So Babuni had asked, RHACM Observability 2.15 is basically, is it GA and is it and supported from, my goodness, is it GA and what version is the, what's the oldest version that it's supported from? Scott replied back with, it's being pushed today, so you should see it either tonight or tomorrow, definitely by the end of the week. And most likely going back to 4.16. Is there anything you want to add to that, or is that you feel like that's pretty good?
Yeah, if Scott replies, then it's always correct.
Yeah, I know, I figured. And then rHope9 asked, any idea when the ACM built SLA metric that broke with 4.19 is going to be solved?
I would need to see this topic. It does not ring a bell for me at the moment, SLA metric. I must have missed this, so I will follow up on this question.
Okay, cool. And hey, so RHOACM, if you're listening, if you have an Access article or if you have a Jira issue or something like that that you can refer to, let us know or share it back, and we'll get it over to Christian and Luiz.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Christian.
Thank you. So this is just a technical slide, how it works under the cover. So we are using Write Ahead Log. This is a basic database technology. And we will send a queue for each remote write endpoint, which is basically the Thanos endpoint. And it allows us to basically do buffer the request before it's written to the remote destination. So this is just a technical detail. And yeah, this is our goal in the next release. So maybe we will have it with ACM 2.16. I cannot promise this today. But the goal is to build a Thanos operator. This is already used by some teams internal at Red Hat. And it should be a level 4, level 5 operator, which has really advanced management capabilities. And the thing is that at the moment with our Observatorium operator, it's not very flexible with tuning. No? But with Thanos operator, you will have a very fine-grained tuning. And by tuning this very fine-grained with many different tuning options, we expect that it will significantly scale even better. No? So I hope that this clarified a little bit the journey where we are. So we are currently here, no? Which is a big progress. And this will be, let's say, the next level, releasing a Thanos operator. Now, let's go a little bit further to the MultiCluster Observability add-on. So we have replaced the old metrics collection stack while Thanos remains unchanged for now. No? So what has been replaced is the endpoint operator and the old metrics collector with the new Prometheus agent, which is more upstream related. The benefits are the improved configurability. As I have mentioned, you have now scrape configs, for example. You can configure much more fine-grained. It's more scalable, as we have discussed in the previous slides. And there will be some improvements regarding the resiliency of the network. And this is something I would like to quickly highlight here. So the improvement, what we have right now is that if there is an outage between the managed clusters and the hub cluster, you have a chance that even up to 2 hours, that the metrics will be resent to the hub cluster so that you don't lose any metrics. To be honest here, we don't guarantee this for now. No? At the moment, it's more likely that we can restore up to 1 hour. And what we will do in the next step is we will better integrate the property what you see here on the Thanos receiver. I don't read the name, but if we have implemented this, we can guarantee 1 hour. This is something what we can't guarantee right now with the new MCOA metrics collection. And once we have integrated the Thanos operator, the goal will be to guarantee 2 hours. No? So at the moment, the benefit is that you have a higher probability to get the metrics even after an outage. Here you see basically how to enable the MCOA configuration. No, it's just a capability similar to what you have seen with the right sizing for OpenShift virtualization. Certainly, you have also the option to forward user workload monitoring. You see, and Luiz has, I believe, some nice demo how to do this. So it's the old allow list, what you see on the top, and it will be separated in a scrape config. And you can see also the Prometheus rules where you can configure your metrics. And one thing what I would like to highlight, and this is quite important, we did not only change the stack, but we also looked into the metrics what we have in ACM, and we have optimized them. No? There is a word which you will hear more later, which is the cardinality. No? So how is a metric used in the system, no? With different labels? And we have reduced the cardinality. This is a great work. And we have added, in turn, some new metrics regarding the networking dashboards, which we will discuss briefly later. No? So this is important side info. And what is also important, we think about creating a migration script so that you can easily migrate from the allow list to the new configuration. if customers are asking for this, I think that we will provide this. You see quickly how the Prometheus agent can be configured. So there are certainly parts which can be configured easily. You see here already the scrape interval. This is something where customers are asking a lot. You see the log level, the resources. This is basic tuning. But there are certainly also some properties which are enforced by MCOA via server-side apply and which are not supposed to be overridden. The scrape interval tuning, as I mentioned, it is something what has been asked many times by our customers. So the standard interval, which you see in the Prometheus agent, is 300 seconds. But you could go ahead now and put some metrics which are more important for you into a scrape config. And here you could set a lower interval. Now, certainly the question comes, how low can you go? And you see here on the right side the warning that you should not go below 90 seconds. If you go too low, then you might have some problems like you getting duplicate values or metrics with older timestamps. So this is how it works. Regarding the MCOE configuration, so I'm not sure how much you have heard about the add-ons in ACM, but this is an add-on which is designed for best practices of the add-on framework in ACM. And we are integrating with placement. Placement is one of the essential concepts in ACM, where you can basically roll out a configuration to some clusters. And like in the old ACM version, or like in the current ACM version, ACM 2.14, you have an allow list, which will be rolled out to all the managed clusters by default. And here we are also rolling out all the default configurations to all the managed clusters. And certainly you can override this. You could say that a managed cluster is not part of the monitoring stack. But by default, every cluster, and you see here the global placement, the global cluster set will be getting this configuration. Here you see also an add-on deployment config where you can do some advanced configuration. I think node placement and the proxy config are quite common. So you would like to maybe place it only to the infra nodes, or you need some proxy configuration, which is often requested or sometimes requested by the customers. One thing which is new, which is something to remember, in the current ACM version or in the old versions, we are doing alert forwarding by default. This is not anymore if you enable the MCOA metrics stack. You need to manually enable alert forwarding. And in order to do this, we will ship a policy, ACM policy, which will enable this alert forwarding. This is it's something which we will document in ACM 2.15. I just got the info today that this policy, the PR is ready in the documentation from the documentation team, but it might come slightly after the ACM 2.15 release. Let me quickly go.
I think, sorry, I just wanted to say, I think this is a good chance to explain the why behind all of these new things. Maybe you can go back a few slides, like 5 times or 6. I just wanted to show, that's good. That's the one. I just wanted to highlight the big why behind this whole change. And I guess when people come to Red Hat, when customers and users, they ask Red Hat about an observability solution, or if they want to use ACM, what they're really looking for is a standardized, secure way to manage clusters, right? And I guess at the same time, we from Red Hat, we want to make sure that they have a secure platform for them to use and host workloads. At the same time, we have to continue to innovate and adhere to the custom community standards, right? So if you look at this YAML, for example, this is using a very standard API from the Prometheus community, which is pretty much a de facto standard for observability in the cloud native space. So at the end of the day, we want to make sure our users can use the most recent capabilities out there from the upstream communities in a secure and elegant way from ACM. So that's why this whole big change. I saw a comment from Scott Behrens, our friend, in the chat, and he said ACM offers observability since 5 years ago, right? So we've been doing ACM observability since, I guess, 2020, right? And it has come to a point where we need to kind of re-architecture things a little bit more. So we are making sure that our customers have a way to scale and use the latest capabilities. So I guess that's just to explain the big why behind these changes, I guess.
No, that's good.
Just
That's
wanted to
awesome.
put that clear. Yeah. Christian, yeah, if you can go ahead to
Yeah,
cardinality. That's a
All right,
big
Luis.
topic.
Thanks a lot for this valuable information. So cardinality and other dashboards in ACM 2.15. So first of all, some dashboards will be deprecated. We just moved to a new Grafana folder. This is not a big deal. We have added the networking dashboards I mentioned before. Because of the reorganization of the metrics, we have saved capacity, what we could use now for new metrics regarding networking. And you will see some nice networking dashboards, which we might also use for other topics, which we will come to later. And as mentioned, we have the cardinality dashboards now as a dev preview. You see here the link. So the goal is basically to provide feedback about the metrics being used in the clusters, and metrics with a high cardinality should be investigated, because we are using a lot of memory, a lot of storage, a lot of resources. And if you have metrics with high cardinality, it could be that you don't need this metric, so you could just delete it. Or you can investigate what is causing high cardinality. It might be that the metric is simply not used. You might you might create something like recording rules on the managed cluster before you send the metric to the hub cluster. Or it might be also something like pod restarts, or an aggressive use of the horizontal pod autoscaler is a use case we learned. So this is something which gives a nice overview about how to save maybe some bandwidth in your system. So you see here some slide about metric cardinality. I know that this is a common topic in with other products as well. Yeah, and we have a clear path here forward. We want to do some further improvements so that you, for example, also see about the usage of the metrics. Maybe you have a metric with high cardinality, but it has not been used maybe in the last days, and you can just maybe just drop it. So this is, and certainly it will be always designed to work best with ACM. It will not be something which is a global solution.
So will there be thresholds that you guys are kind of shipping that say, hey, this is the average, this is what you should expect, anything above this or below this, right? This is where you probably want to investigate and take action?
We will provide a dashboard where we will highlight the top metrics with the highest cardinality. In this dashboard, you will see basically also if the cardinality has decreased over the last weeks or increased, so you're getting maybe some pointer if it was just some certain situation in your cluster. Regarding the thresholds, I have shared the link at the beginning. Here you see also the technical implementation for this dev preview. So I'm not aware of any thresholds regarding cardinality, what we have implemented here.
Gotcha.
What is also very nice, and maybe some of you have heard about Persis already, this will be our future regarding dashboard and also for logging and for alert management, by the way. And we will use it certainly also in ACM. No, it's an OpenShift and ACM project. And here you see how it looks like in ACM 2.14 already. So you are installing the cluster observability operator, you enable monitoring in the UI plugin, and when you get basically the Persis dashboards, you just need to install them. So we are providing some upstream repository, the mix-in dashboards, it's called, and when you can get these dashboards. And yeah, this is something what we don't have yet in Grafana. So the Thanos dashboards with the 5 components of Thanos, this is very important. So we get a lot of questions in the Thanos area. Think about the Thanos compactor. If you have issues with the compactor, then customers often report that the storage size is increasing really very fast. This is why it's a very valuable dashboard to look at. So,
hey, Christian, we got a question. The question is, can these be used for any custom metrics from third-party apps?
Yes. So if you have third-party apps, when you have always 2 possibilities, but this was always an option. You have a custom allow list, no? Or you have a custom scrape config file in the future, no? Where you just add the metrics which are in the OpenShift platform, and when it will be scraped from the managed cluster to the hub cluster. No? So we have also the user workload monitoring, which will certainly also be possible in the future, where you put the config map, or in the future the scrape config, into a certain namespace. In this namespace, you have also a service monitor, and when you specify the metric which you would like to send from the managed cluster to the hub cluster. No? So think about ODF is a good example. No? If you would like to monitor ODF, you just put this metrics regarding ODF into the custom config map, custom configuration files, and then you can collect them. And for user workload monitoring, a good example is, for example, Keycloak, where you put user workload monitoring configuration into the namespace and scrape the metrics from there. Yeah, regarding Global Hub, I don't want to talk too much about Global Hub. What you should remember is that it works, and it works to use metric stack when Global Hub is enabled. So for those who don't know, Global Hub is a solution on top of an ACM hub cluster, what some of our customers are using. It provides especially monitoring capabilities that you can basically get the information from all the child hub clusters and all the managed clusters below. You have something like global search, global policy management, and certainly there needs to be a way that metrics is still working when Global Hub is enabled. And for now, it works in a way that if MCOA, so the new metrics collection, is enabled, it will send the metrics directly to the hub cluster. This is maybe something you should remember. And there is another thing what you should have heard of. So there is a change in some secret. If you want to configure alert forwarding manually, and for this you would need to also maybe use a policy, and we will provide some examples how to enable this feature with Global Hub. So I'm coming to the roadmap, what we are planning, and this is certainly subject to change. So we want to have a t-shirt sizing GA. This is currently dev preview. So t-shirt sizing works in a way that we have a flag which is called instance config, instance size on the MultiCluster Observability CR, and it tunes basically the system based on the value of the instance size. So if you want to have a small system, or if you think you have a small system and we can work on the right configuration, then you would make small maybe as part of the configuration. And it certainly for GA, it needs to be also upgradable. No? So think about, you start with a small system, you are extending your fleet, you are adding more clusters, you're changing the interval, it becomes larger. Then you should certainly also switch in the future from a small to a medium or big environment. We ship the Tanos operator. This is something we discussed. We discussed about the backup and restore. We get a lot of requests regarding hosted control planes and monitoring them. No? Think about the different patterns. We have a capacity management dashboard already for hosted control planes, but what if you have the hosted control planes on a child multi-cluster engine and import the hosted control planes into the hub? This is a valid architecture, and how to monitor it then. So it's likely not a lot of work to change this, but it requires maybe some new dashboards and some documentation work. We are designing a dashboard for cross-cluster live migration. Here, we would love to get some feedback. So think about, you are doing a live migration of many virtual machines. Now, it's a new feature. What we are working on, it's tech preview in ACM 2.15 will be GA in ACM 2.16 together with the OpenShift virtualization team. No? And if you design this dashboard, we are hearing from the customer about, I would like to see what are my successful live migrations, but what are my failed live migrations? Maybe some kind of estimation feature. No? What metrics do we need? Do we need storage metrics? Do we need networking metrics? No? And this is something what we are currently discussing. We discussed about cardinality dashboards before. RBAC authorization is a very important topic for our customers. So with Persis, we have already solved one of the main RBAC problems, that you can basically provide namespace level RBAC for the dashboards. A dashboard is in a namespace, and you can decide who is allowed to see or edit the dashboard. What is still open are advanced RBAC topics like if you see the dashboard, what data is shown by the dashboard. So think about, you would like to limit the clusters or the namespaces which the dashboard is displaying. Here we have a technical preview solution at the moment, as I have mentioned before. It's something that we still need to work on. And we have the third level, you can say the metrics level RBAC, where you can basically say, I only allow some users to see certain metrics. This is something we are working on, we are discussing. We want to do certificate management improvement to better integrate Cert Manager so that we have cleaner workflows if a certificate is expiring in ACM, used by Thanos, for example. We are migrating the Persis dashboard in the future, and we are adding new dashboard. For this, we have created an own SDK upstream. So we will not use for our dashboards the migration feature, which is coming with the Persis dashboard. We are working on an SDK. And another important topic is the Alert Manager UI. It's dev preview at the moment, and we are trying to make here a good progress because we are getting a lot of customer questions in this area. So you see here how our dashboard. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just didn't want you to move on before we got too far. Can you move back one more? So with am I understanding your RBAC dashboard here correctly, where and this could just be me like I'm just being dumb, but are you saying that like the RBAC it's not one thing to just give somebody access to the dashboard itself, but within the dashboard you can assign certain RBACs to like those specific fields or whatever, so that way like Johnny doesn't have permission to view whatever metric, so if I don't, I just don't see it. Is that what you're saying? It's that granular in the dashboard?
Yeah. Let's make a simple I hope that you can still see the screen. So this is from our ACM 2.14 environment. Here you see my Persis dashboard. So it's directly integrated into the OpenShift console. Now this is a difference to Grafana. And here you have a namespace. You see here Persis dev. And I could say that Jonny is not allowed to see anything in this namespace. I could create a new namespace just for Jonny where he can see the dashboard. And then no other. This is the first thing, and this is already a very important step. But what I was referring to is that Jonny can see a dashboard, but the dashboard does not show all the clusters and all the namespaces. This is exactly what our technical preview solution provides at the moment, and is also used by some of our customers. So you can configure a cluster role where you say that the user Luiz or Jonny can only see the metrics in certain namespaces on certain clusters. And when you get some kind of filtering, and when you see the dashboard, you only see what you are allowed to see. This is the second level of RBAC, what I mentioned. And the third level, as mentioned, you can see everything, but there are maybe some financial metrics. Think about we integrate with cost management, maybe, and then you should not see certain metrics regarding cost management. This is the idea, and then you can configure this also on a global level. But I would like to highlight that we are not there yet. We have the first step. The second step is a technical preview, which will be redesigned, and the third step is something what we are discussing. And the same, what I mentioned is certainly also valid for multi-cluster logging, where we need multi-tenancy solution, and we hope that we can conclude on this topic soon, so that we can start implementing next year.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think this is one. Yeah, I was gonna say this is probably one of the big reasons why we want to bring those dashboards to the ACM UI, because it makes it so much easier for us and for any user to create RBAC rules and permissions for users to be able to see certain metrics or not. Because today, they have to go to a different screen and look at the Grafana UI, and those are two different UIs. So you have to really play a little bit with the rules and permissions to make it happen. So
yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. The other big one that I saw in there too was the live migration dashboard. I think that's going to be amazing, because like even we had the UX team on at some point in the last month or so, and they were talking about like the fleet virtualization plugin and console plugin, and it's yeah, you can see like having it all condensed into one place and have it all in one spot where you're not having to jump around, or at least making it to where it's easier to get back to the screen that you were on without having to go back through like 18 different levels. I think that user experience is going to be awesome. And having that migration or having that dashboard, that was something that we were kind of like, it'd be kind of cool if you could just see the whole thing. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be an awesome one.
Yeah, as you mentioned, we believe that it will be much easier to create dashboards in the future, because of the more GitOps friendly way Persis is providing and the CR implementation.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are really looking forward, and it's much easier to provide with new flows where you can say, I want to give my team a new dashboard, and only the team can see this. So this is really a lot of requests from our customers there. So
are you seeing? I'm sorry. I'm just nerding out. I don't mean to be rude. I'm sorry. Is there going to be like with like DR, right, and cluster migration from one site to another? Is that something that's in the works? I may be talking out of my or like over my skis right now, but like, like my team right now is doing a lot of work with DR with various levels, right, through ACM and storage and all kinds of craziness. But are you guys working on any kind of dashboard to do that shows like, hey, here's where it was, here's where it is, here's the status, that kind of thing?
Are you referring to a migration of a virtual machine from one cluster to the other? Or do you mean maybe migrating a managed cluster from one hub
all of them
to another hub? We have solutions for both. No?
Okay.
And for the global hub, we have already a GA solution to migrate managed clusters from one hub to the other. Think about, you would like to do some maintenance work, but you need the managed clusters under management. So you move all the managed clusters to the hub, which is available all the time, and you can do your maintenance work and maybe then migrate it back. So this is something what we have already shown in the What's New session. And I'm not an expert in this area, but I'm happy to follow up if there are any questions on this feature.
I'm just being a nerd. I was just curious. I'm sitting here. We've been doing a lot of work with DR, and I was just like, oh man, I wonder if there's a thing. And Scott just said too that in the context of Global Hub, there is a managed cluster migration,
Exactly.
aka going from Hub 1 to Hub 2.
Exactly.
But he's not sure if there's a dashboard actually for it yet. So
there is no dashboard as far as I know. I mean, Global Hub has its own Grafana interface. We have their own monitoring solution, and we can double check if there are any plans to create such a dashboard. In my opinion, it's a good idea for an enhancement.
I want to say as well, the metrics, like if a user wants to create a dashboard to make sure they have visibility into the migration, the metrics are there. Like if they want to create a dashboard and pull the metrics from ACM, it works, right? That's what we see a lot of customers doing. They pick the native dashboards that are ready to use straight away from ACM. They made a copy and they pull more metrics in it so they can see more stuff. So that's one of the things that I wanted to say, because if you see the links in the description of this video, there's a bunch of links there. The ones at the bottom are really interactive demos that we try to build and demonstrate how to create custom dashboards, especially for virtualization, because we know it's a hot topic right now.
Yeah.
So just wanted to point out the links there. So if anyone is interested in, just have a look and let us know what you found. Yeah,
solid point. And so, Luiz, just to be clear for everybody that's listening to, you're saying that all the bits are there, all the metrics, all the resources that you would need are there, so you can build your own custom dashboard to do essentially what we're talking about, where a migration dashboard, if you will, or DR dashboard, if that's what you're interested in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. No, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Luiz. Yeah. So coming more or less to the end, so this is our Persis roadmap. Many customers are interested in this topic, quite always positive, I would say. So as I've mentioned, the big feature what we waited for was the connect Persis authentication to OpenShift authentication. This gives us the RBAC functionality what we need. And you see that in COO 1.4, in Q1, we have the customizable dashboards as a technical preview. We need actionable links. This is very important for both linking inside a dashboard, but also to maybe to provide some actionable alerts, actionable metrics. We have the export feature of CSV, which is also good thing. And customers really are asking us for provide as much design possibilities as possible, no? So that you can really go in the UI, design your dashboards, not just as a UI feature. And yeah, this is all progressing, I would say, very well. And we are certainly looking into migrating the existing ACM dashboards, the dashboards for OpenShift virtualization, the dashboards for Global Hub, the dashboards for hosted control planes, all to Persis. And we hope that in Q1 we have already significant progress which we can show.
Do you know, and maybe this is too far down the road, like is there a like an anticipated deprecation date for Grafana, or are we always just going to have Grafana capability, but we're just going to default to Persis?
Yeah, so it's a good question. It's a very valid question. Once we have Persis GA, once we have the dashboards migrated to GA, we will certainly think about this. No? But I don't want to announce anything when it's not. We did not discuss it in detail yet. No, we did not discuss it in detail yet. But it's really something which might come. Yes. Here a quick comparison between Persis and Grafana. One thing I want to highlight. This is very important for us. So Persis is not only embedded in the OpenShift console, as you see, and it's much more GitOps friendly. These are big things. The other thing is you can embed Persis dashboards very nicely into user flows. No? This means our designers they will come with many new ideas how to embed these dashboards into the user workflow, because this is one of our big goals, to improve the usability. No? And Persis will help us here a lot. So this is another thing really great. And what you should also know is Persis works with data sources. So if you, for example, would like to integrate with ACM, and you could just create a new data source. Now we are creating also data sources. Think about the Loki data source, which will connect Persis to logging, for example. Here you see one of the mock-ups how a dashboard might look like. No? Also with some design options already, where you maybe add some panel groups and so on. So this is something where we have certainly already internal some more demos, but we will make it public as soon as we think it's valid. And another topic, and I'm coming here to the end of the presentation, is the multi-cluster alert management. We get a lot of questions in this area. Sometimes we are visiting customers. We talk about so many topics, and the customer would like to have a follow-up just on the alert management topic. So we have planned a new multi-cluster alert management UI, like Persis integrated in the UI. It will also be very likely based on Persis. No? And we have here certainly the goal to make it multi-cluster alert management. This means all the alerts from a different managed cluster will be centralized in the UI. We have also a strong demand from the OpenShift virtualization team here, because as you know, OpenShift virtualization is very noisy regarding alerts. So we have a strong interest to have a first-class solution here. No? So what are the goals? The goal is basically to group the alert, to have some option to filter alerts, certainly also to silence alerts. This is a critical topic in my opinion, because silencing alert, it's not an easy task. If you silence an alert and it's in a critical alert, you might have you might cause some production problems. So we also think about RBAC here. No? Do we need RBAC for multi-cluster alert management? Other topics is we have upstream alert management. The solution needs to be compatible with upstream alert management. No? The next topic is GitOps. The customers are telling us that it needs to be GitOps friendly. So at least some parts of the alert management, what can be configured, like alert rules, need to be configured in Git. Maybe there is even some idea to sync between Git, or to highlight that it's Git managed configuration. No? So we have a lot of topics here. Think about the alert destinations, where some of our customers ask for secure alert destinations. This is already a feature of ACM. But what about token-based authentication for remote destinations? This is also something where we are discussing. So it's a very interesting topic. No? So any feedback here is also more than welcome. Yeah, this was the presentation. I hope it gave you some new information, some useful information. Thank you.
Yeah, no, this is good. And I like where you guys are going, right? I think like just looking at this example here, this mock-up, it just looks like it's supposed to be there. Where Grafana, nothing against Grafana, but it's just different, right? You have to go to another source. It just doesn't look like it looks like it's not part of OpenShift, and I think that this will make it a lot easier. I think it like just the whole trying to find the right thing in the right place and just having that kind of like consistency throughout like each of the tabs. I'm happy. It looks like it's gonna be really good. And personally, it looks like it's super configurable too. So like that's awesome.
I think we get the same reaction to really every people we talk to. Like when we say we're bringing these dashboards and all these telemetry signals and types to the ACM UI, people be like, yeah, please do this, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're getting to a pretty strong, stable stage phase where we can actually deliver these kind of things, which will make a huge difference. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks awesome. And thinking about the multi-cluster and especially the multi-cluster virtualization, the virtualization, fleet virtualization and fleet management and all that's super nice, having it in that one spot. All right, I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off, Luis. It's not on purpose, I promise.
No, that's all good. I was just gonna ask Christian a question because I actually have a question. We didn't talk anything about actionable buttons in the dashboards UI. Is that something we plan to do, Christian? That was a question that I had.
I raised it a little bit in the right sizing discussion. So customers are asking us, if you provide right sizing results, make it actionable. I mentioned before that in the age of AI, customers would expect this. And the same is certainly for alert management. So you have an alert. Should you make this alert actionable? What you could do is you could send maybe this alert to Ansible, and from there you are writing a playbook on the hub, and via the cluster proxy feature in ACM, you are mitigating everything on the managed cluster. We have also requests to better document our alerts in some runbooks, which are used by the customers. So to answer your question, yes, we are discussing this from time to time, but anytime we discuss this, we are also getting a lot of feedback that alerts should not be actionable. It's more a story where you have a runbook, and with the runbook, you specify what needs to be done with the alert. So if we get the requests more, but it should be actionable, certainly we can do here something. It's not even in my opinion, a very difficult task to solve. The same serves also for actionable metrics. We could, but as I have mentioned, for purposes we need to wait for some fixes, especially the linking problem, what I have described, and then we can easily discuss this. And maybe we can write a blog about actionable dashboards or alerts, Luis, at some day.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
We got a comment. One comment from the chat was, don't forget the user experience. Snappy responses desired. Absolutely, we agree. And we had Peter Koiser on the stream a couple weeks ago, and you mentioned something earlier where you're working on the user experience and stuff like that. So how do our customers funnel in issues that they're having, or hey, this is awesome, or this is terrible, I hate it, whatever? Like, how do they give you that feedback? Do they do it through Jira, through their sales team? Because I know with Peter was like, hey, just email me, I'll take it.
It's really with different sources. We speak as much as possible with our customers. We hear it from there. We got a lot of feedback regarding purses and the benefits regarding usability. Sometimes we see also on our own if we are working with our products. So think about the OpenShift virtualization topic. You are in the UI and you have here a virtual machine, and you would like to investigate in this virtual machine about what is the usage, what are the metrics around this. Now, at the moment, you need to go to the Grafana dashboard. You need to go outside basically of the OpenShift console. It's not bad for every customer, by the way. Some customers like this, but for, let's say, more customers, it's not ideal. We want to have a nice user workflow. We want to see the virtual machine. Maybe we want to just click on the links on the dashboards directly, not leaving the OpenShift console. When we want to see basically the virtual machine in the different dashboards, when we want to go back from where we are, we call this intelligent linking. And as I have mentioned before, with the Persis features to embed the dashboards into the UI. This is one of the big features of Persis. We have many more opportunities because at the moment we can just provide links to Grafana, which is good, but it's not the big improvement what we are looking for with Persis.
Yeah, gotcha. And we had a question from the chat, and so I kind of teed this up to you guys earlier from Waleed on LinkedIn, and the question was, is cross-cloud with non-OpenShift environments, example being GCP or AWS, where there's no federate/remote work, remote write does not accept writes from the outside. He said, I would usually go with Alloy or OTel for such a solution. Would love to hear your take on, would love to hear your take, and if this is an ask from customers with environments that are other than OpenShift. So this is from Wally that we shared yesterday about how do we do all these things with non-OpenShift clusters?
Yeah. Luis, do you maybe like to take this question?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is a great question because Christian and I were just discussing about this early this morning. And the thing that we want to say here is ACM observability works for non-OpenShift clusters, right? All the observability pieces, they should be supported and work with EKS or any other CNCF conforming Kubernetes clusters, right? But in practice, what happens at the end of the day is that some metrics are not available in all Kubernetes clusters. So for example, I'll give an example. HCP, hosted control planes. We're talking about a OpenShift cluster that has hosted control planes, right? So that means that ACM might not have access to all the metrics from the control plane because the control plane is hosted on a different platform, right? It's the same for Kubernetes clusters, right? EKS might not expose a certain metric, for example, so you won't see that information in the dashboards, right? In some cases, you will see that the dashboards will fail a little bit because the metric is not really exposed, but it's not a problem of supportability or anything like that. So that's what I wanted to clarify. I don't know if that fully answered the questions. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good example, right? Because hosted control planes is it's akin to an EKS or an AKS, right? You just have a compute nodes. Yeah, no, that's good, solid. And Waleed, if you're watching, if you're listening back or whatever, hopefully that answered your question. If not, let us know, and we'll try and dive into it a little bit more. Luis, you wanted to share your screen, right?
Yeah, we were answering questions about feedback. I will share my screen just quickly because a lot of people don't know about this. Yeah, so this is ACM, right? If you are actually already an ACM customer or ACM user, you can just come here, right? Maybe there's something in the UX, that is not really doing good, or if you have any really type of feedback, there's a feedback button at the top, at the bottom right part of the screen. A lot of people miss this because it's kind of small here at the bottom, but this is a good place for users to give feedback, right? So if you click on share feedback, it's gonna take you to a form that then when you submit it, it will be received by the ACM product team. So that's probably one of the best ways if you wanna give any feedback for us in terms of the ACM usage in general. So I just wanted to show that because that was a recent addition in the ACM UI, and I think some people missed it. So just wanted to make sure I put that out there.
No, that's awesome. Great point. Because that seems to be, at least for me, it's like, well, how do we tell people to? We always say we want feedback. Please, good, bad, or indifferent. We want it, but it's like, but how, right? Because you can't just email all us each right individually. It doesn't scale well. So like having that button there, that is awesome. That should be a universal thing. That is really good.
That is
Awesome.
a UX enhancement.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm telling you, Peter's team, man, like they're doing the Lord's work, man. They're out there just getting after it. So, yeah, I really like what they're doing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool. Well, no, hey, thank you guys for doing this. I know it's not easy coming onto the stream, and you know, like it's hard to like understand what's going to happen and stuff like that. But I think that the content was awesome, and it's cool
Yeah.
to see how far this I almost said application, but this platform has really come. You know, ACM has just over and over and over again just gotten better and better and better, you know, and it's awesome. One of my favorite tools is hosted control planes, and then I've been using ACM for like managed clusters and cluster deployments lately, and it's just from an infrastructure person, it is just such an awesome tool. And yeah, I love using it. So keep up the great work. I love it. Hopefully everybody else does too.
Yeah, thank you, Jonny. I guess that's what we try to do. Just make sure we provide a good platform for all of these clusters, right?
Yeah, no, you are. You guys are crushing it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so I understand 215 comes out. If you guys ever want to come back, do some more demos or talk some more stuff, like just please come on. Christian, I know you've got like a swath of knowledge kind of like across the board. So yeah, anytime you guys want to come back, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Maybe we come back about application lifecycle management the next time, Luis and myself, where we talk about the new features, because we have also here many things to discuss.
Yeah, let's do it. It sounds awesome. And to your point, Luis, you made a point earlier about the links. So if you go into the video description in YouTube and you look under I think we set it up as like interactive demos or something like that. I think there's 3 or 4 that are in there. So go check those out. It's a good chance to get hands on. And then Luis provided all the links to the data for the PRs and the things that they're showing off today. So you'll be able to get all the information that we talked about today and go touch it yourself, which is it's quite nice. So, and the interactive demos, they're a unique experience. So it's kind of cool to be able to get your hands on it without having to deploy it in your own environment. So
For sure.
check that out.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So with that, I did have one thing that I missed on the top of mind, and it's because I was trying to finish too quick. If you are into certifications, I just learned about this yesterday. There's a Red Hat certified OpenShift architect certification path now. So what that is, if you're familiar with like the Red Hat certified architect, you take a certain number of tests, and then now you're an architect. Now we have an OpenShift specific one, which it's really cool. So you don't have to go do like an Ansible test, or you don't have to do any of the other stuff. You still have to have RHACM, but you can do like an only OpenShift specific track and be an OpenShift certified architect. So it's just bragging rights. It's resume fodder. I love the certs because it gives me a purpose to like study and learn something new and just kind of get after it. So I want to make sure that we said that. And again, call for proposals for OpenShift Commons closes January 12th. If you're going to be there, if you're going to be at KubeCon in Amsterdam, please register for OpenShift Commons. Take the time, go meet some Red Hatters, go meet some more OpenShifters, and hopefully you submit a panel and you get accepted, and you get to meet a bunch of people. Hopefully get free drinks. So with that, you guys want to have anything else you want to talk about, or you ready to close up?
I'll be there at KubeCon. So
yeah,
if you go,
awesome. I'm trying.
Yeah, might be cold for me, but it's what we do, right?
Yes. Are you presenting, or are you doing booth, or both?
Well, I have submitted a few talks. Still waiting for the CFPs to be announced. But yeah, like you said at the beginning, like it's really hard right now to get acceptance from those conferences, but we're trying. So we'll see. If not, I'll just be doing booth duty. So
gotcha. Well, fingers crossed, man. I hope you get your talk selected, because it's always fun to do. It's stressful as heck, but like it's a ton of fun. It's really worth it. So
for sure, yeah.
Awesome.
But that's all I had.
No, hey, you guys did great. Thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Scott, thank you for chiming in from the chat and helping out. It's good to have it's good to see the whole team here, and it really shows like how big your team is, or how good your team is, right? To support from all over, and it's kudos, man. I love Red Hat. All right, cool. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jonny. Talk soon. Bye.